in Vietnam, as you have already mentioned, we got three biggest cities. Hanoi as a capital, Da Nang as a very beautiful city for tourists in the center, and Ho Chi Minh City in the south, which very focused on economic. Da Nang is a tourist city. Like for Nén, we receive a lot of tourists during the year. People will come in from around the world as a tourist, so they always happy to spend to receive a good holiday there. Also, create opportunity to show to our customer at Nén a range of different style of wine. We got a lot of natural wine in our list, a lot of low alcohol, and a lot of wine from different area in the world. Like we got Chinese wine, we got Japanese wine, and then we got local product. And then we got wine from Czech Republic, and we got wine from, let's say, a very famous place in Italy for natural wine. We got Radicant, we got all of that.
Welcome to Asia Wine Market, the series that takes you inside the most dynamic and fast-evolving wine markets across Asia. I'm your host, Roza, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories, trends, and opportunities shaping the future of wine in this vibrant region. Whether you're a winery looking to expand in Asia or a wine professional exploring global trends, this series is for you. Hello everyone and welcome to Asia Wine Market. Today I'm really excited to welcome our first guest from Vietnam. So today we're joined by Vi Le. She is a Vietnamese sommelier, WSET diploma holder and co-founder and the vice president of the Vietnam Sommelier Association. She lectures in wine studies, serves as beverage director and head sommelier at Nén Restaurant. And she's also the owner of a wine bar herself. It's called Knob, and it is Vietnam's first natural wine bar. In 2023, she became the first Vietnamese sommelier to compete in the ASI World Best Sommelier competition. So welcome, Vi. We're very delighted to have you here today.
Thank you, Rosa. For me, also is very happy when I received your invitation for the podcast. So I'm very happy to be the first one from Vietnam. So thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the introduction. So I think that is mostly who I am. Just one thing for our wine bar. You're correct that we are one of the first natural wine bar in Vietnam. So we opened 2022. But last March 2026, me and my team, we decided to close down the bar. But then we continue for another project. So it's the same team, the same spirit, but we aim to something else than that, just natural wines. So the natural wine bar is closed down, but then we got another one which called Owl, which is my nickname, OWL, as an animal. So that is the project that we will go every month to a new place. So we do collaboration and we do different workshops based on the different kind of product, but we aim to do natural wines, some other thing like cheese, like tea, or anything that we think is interesting. So ours also means origin with love. So the idea is to, show and to present a nice thing to our audience. So from Knob, now we are out. Same team, same spirit, just different project. Yeah.
So both like wines, spirits, all the beverages, and also the food, they are all imported or also local?
Since we start the project, so we already made 3 workshops. So the first one was to do the pairing between natural wines and cheese. So of course, natural wine is coming from abroad and the cheese also coming from abroad. And the second workshop, we do the cheese and tea pairing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, a lot of people say like, what is tea and cheese pairing? And like, yes. And they say, they ask me why. And they say, well, I love to drink tea and I love cheese. So if cheese can pair with wine, then why not we do with other beverage? So we decided to make tea because as a Vietnamese, we are very proud that we got a lot of very high quality tea. And we got a long history based on the origin of the tea, of the tea tree, like super long times ago. So we made the workshop to showcase and to tell the story about Vietnamese tea. And of course, we also include tea from China. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot forget China as a tea country. So it's a super fun and excited workshop that we did. So people actually they got new experience on the two product that they think that they can do but not together.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very, very successful project. And then the next project would happen next week. Is the which we're talking about natural wine to the new people. I'm a natural wine lover. Everyone know about it. So I always want to share a nice story about the wine because I also spent 1 year working in a natural wine producer back to 2020 in Languedoc, south of France. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to share the story. I want to share my experience and want to say to people that the natural wine is something that I always love to talk about, and I want people to think about natural wine in a different way. Of course, a lot of people say that natural wine is not normally is very bad. It's like vinegar, and sometimes it's very bad produced. So I say like I agree with that, but you still can find the bad normal wine, right? If you just go to the supermarket, you buy a very cheap wine or something like that, then you can find you will receive a not good product. So it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is to share the story, to tell like who will make this beautiful wine and how they made that, and to share my experience when I work in France. So it will happen next week. And then we are planning more and more workshops in the future about a different topic, different product, but the core information that we want to show to people that is aimed to the name of our project is how is origin with love. So we share the love of the product.
That's quite interesting. And also, uh, about natural wines, I want to go back to this topic again once we talk about different trends in the market. But first, for our listeners, our key takeaways for this episode, we are going to understand the structure and the evolution of the Vietnamese market. Second, we're going to identify consumer trends and opportunities for Italian wines. And third, we're going to learn how education and SOMs are shaping Vietnam's wine culture. So, first, for our first episode about Vietnam, could you please give us an overview of Vietnam as a country and what have been the biggest changes you've witnessed over these past decade when you were working with wine?
Okay, so welcome to my country. Welcome to Vietnam, a small country in Southeast Asia. We are a big population country, and then we also are very famous for tourist activities, as we got a very long seaside with a lot of activity that tourists will come in different time of the year, which is one of the biggest advantage for Vietnam. So we are tropical countries. That means that we don't really produce wine ourselves. Instead of wine, we produce other agriculture products. But we still have a local wine, which called Dalat wine. Dalat is a province. It's a city where years ago, French people, when they come to our country, as a French culture, they want to have some local wine. So the VT culture in Vietnam start back in 17th, 18th century, but it was not successful because we are tropical countries. Too humid, a lot of rainfall, so it's more suitable for coffee and tea. So that means that there's a big opportunity for wine around the world that come to Vietnam. But then, of course, the wine drinking culture is not our culture. We are beer drinking countries. We are very much into beer. We got a lot of good local beer, and also we got a lot of good draft beer that is not a new scene anymore. It news like 10 years, been 10 years. And then a lot of very good beer and a lot of very good cocktail bar. I think the beer drinking culture and the cocktail drinking culture is still the dominant one. So for wine in Vietnam, I think people always say there's a big opportunity for everyone that come to Vietnam to showcase this wine. And actually, we are not a new country into wine. The first wine that import to Vietnam was 32 years ago. One of the first company that got the import license was back to 1994, I guess. So that was the very first year that the wine actually come to Vietnam. But in that time, there's more French wine, French normal quality wine, A lot of people know about Pays d'Oc.
Mm-hmm.
It's IGP Languedoc wine. No one know about IGP or AOC in the time. They know about Pays d'Oc. So they always ask about Pays d'Oc. And after that was Bordeaux wine, Bordeaux as a color. So they know, and a Bordeaux
Mm-hmm.
as a wine. So it's very easy for them to remember. So everything start like that, like very normal. But after more than 30 years, now there's more and more wine that come to Vietnam. A new trend actually come to Vietnam, as you know, like as I start my project, my wine bar in 2022. That was the very first year that the natural wine is getting into the market. So I'll say wine scene in Vietnam is not very new, but I would put it as a developing country into the wine. So if we compare wine drinking volume with others, wine is like nothing. But there's a lot of development. Like I worked 11 years in the industry. So in that 11 year, I saw a big difference from 2015 till now, 2026.
Mm-hmm. So probably French wine is still like if you name top three countries by imports that go for volumes. So which countries would be the top three?
I don't have the exact number, but from what I know, it will be Italy,
Hmm.
Chile, and France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By Italy, do you mean it's gonna be like top one? It's like one, two, three?
Top one or two, it very because since for the last, let's say, 10 years, there's several companies that they really focus on bringing Italian wine to Vietnamese market by bringing wine from southern Italy. The style that Vietnamese people really
Mm-hmm.
like Primitivo, Negro Amaro, the wine from Puglia, from the southern part of Italy. I will explain this kind of style because a lot of people drink, local spirit. I forgot to mention about the local spirit that the local people here they drink. So it's the distilled spirit from rice or from corn. So that is a local spirit.
How is it called again?
In Vietnamese, you mean?
I don't know, in Vietnamese or international name. Does it already have an international name?
People will call them rice spirit as an international, like as
Okay.
English. Or we call in Vietnamese is rượu đế.
Okay.
Rượu is mean alcohol. All right. Đế is the like people call the rice spirit as the rượu
Mm-hmm.
đế. So people got a very strong taste. Local people have a very strong taste on alcohol beverage. So when they want to switch from the local spirit or let's say local product to wine, they will switch to something that very similar to their taste. So the South Italian red wine will fit their taste. They got a very strong flavor, very good textures,
Very intense.
intense, sweet sometimes, and high alcohol. So that's how it started. So a lot of people now they know about the name of the wine. They don't know where they're coming from. They know it's Italian wine. They know the name and they know that is the taste that they like, and that exactly is the Primitivo or Negro Amaro blend
Mm-hmm.
from
You
Puglia.
know, like you said, the name of the wine, you mean the brand, exactly the brand, or the denomination, or the grape variety on the label?
It's more on the brand
Okay.
and the name of that bottle, the name of that one. Very easy to remember
Okay.
because they're always trying to import the wine that people can really remember by the taste and then by the labels. So they know about the labels and then they know that is coming from Italy and that's everything that they need to know when they decide to buy the wine. So that was a very successful approach for local people. So until now, that kind of wine still appears in the market. Of course, there some development on the taste, on the way people drink Italian wine, but Puglia wine from the south is something that you never can change. It's always there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And also, what about the channels where people interact with wine? So, what are the main channels through which consumers purchase and discover wine?
I will separate this to two different periods. One is before COVID and the other one is after COVID because for me, it makes a lot of sense. So before COVID, before let's say COVID in Southeast Asia around 2020. So before 2020, the main channel for me is hotel, restaurant, more B2C, more like, yeah, people come to the bar, come to the restaurant, or decide to drink or not over there. And then there's some channel that people will, call their target audience to sell wine. So that is kind of private, but it's like business to customer. It's more B2C. But after COVID, for F&B section, it's getting less, replaced by more like retail and more private customer. Because they got they used to drink at their own, buy wine, drink with their friends at their own, or at somewhere that they used to. So it's more convenient for them. So they would buy a lot of wine because then they can have a better deal when they buy the wine. Like you buy 6 or 12 bottles, you got a better deal. You got free shipping to your place, and it's very convenient. And then you can get a lot of promotion, and the salesman would take care of you very, very nice. So after COVID, the private section and more retailer, and of course the B2C is developed more than before COVID. But now, from last year and this year, or when the Michelin guide came to Vietnam, since 3 years ago, I think 3, 4 years ago, then the F&B section is coming back a little by little by doing set menu pairing, by doing alcohol pairing or wine pairing in the restaurant. Like me, I work in Nén Restaurant. It's a fine dining restaurant that we only provide set menu. So beside the food set menu, we prepare a set of wine pairing, of alcohol pairing, wine, sake, local spirit, and non-alcohol pairing. So when we decide to focus a lot on the alcohol pairing in the restaurant, and when we received the Green Star Michelin in Da Nang, and the Michelin selected for all the restaurant, more and more people come into the restaurant, and then when they see the set menu, the set pairing, they would happy to choose that instead of buying like glass of wine or buying a whole bottle. So based on the sales report that we receive every month, I saw that there's a lot of set pairing menu that we sell more than the wine by glass or wine by bottle. It gives them a range of different style of beverage, and because we already do the pairing for them, so it makes sure that the pairing will be perfect. So they will just enjoy the experience between the food and the wine. So why I mentioned about the Michelin, because after the Michelin that came to Vietnam, more and more restaurants will do more like fine dining. And because they got the guy, people will look at the Michelin guy and come to the restaurant. So they would expect more than just a normal meal. They would expect to have a good food and maybe sometimes a good pairing too. So after that happened, I saw that a lot of restaurants that they will make the set menu, the pairing menu for the food. So it starts slowly, but then now I saw that every, let's say, fine dining or high-end bistro, they will always have a wine pairing with them.
Okay, got it. And also, Nen is in Da Nang, but you live in Ho Chi Minh yourself. So let's talk about those cities like Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi, Da Nang. I haven't been to Ho Chi Minh yet. I heard it's a crazy city with crazy traffic. I've been to Hanoi 3 days and I was like, that's a beautiful city, but how am I going to
Nature.
survive this traffic like for more than 3 days? So tell us about the differences in these bigger areas, in these bigger cities.
Actually, then we got restaurant in Ho Chi Minh, we got restaurant in Da
Okay.
Nang, and then we got one new restaurant in Tokyo, Japan.
Ooh.
So 3 outlets. So the Tokyo one was just opened last September, so it's quite new, almost 1 year old. All right. So for me, of course, I need to travel a lot to cover my work in the restaurant. But like in Vietnam, as you have already mentioned, we got three biggest cities. Hanoi as a capital in the north, Da Nang as a very beautiful city for tourists in the center, and Ho Chi Minh City in the south, which very focused on economic. And of course, tourists is also coming a lot to Ho Chi Minh, and then they spend several days, visiting the Mekong Delta from Ho Chi Minh City. So of course, there always a big difference between these three cities. So Hanoi will be as a capital, I would say, to be very easy to understand. So the capital in Hanoi will be more traditional in terms of using the wine, in terms of palate, and in terms of tasting. So it's a little bit more traditional. Traditional has been classic area, classic wine, classic blend. There are also new trend coming to Hanoi as a natural wine, organic biodynamic wine, still coming there. But the main thing is still on a traditional taste. Da Nang is a tourist city. Like for Nén, we receive a lot of tourists during the year. So I would count like 80 to 85% tourists coming to our restaurant. So that is a big opportunity for F&B outlet in Da Nang, in the city, as people will come in from around the world as a tourist. So they always happy to spend to receive a good holiday there. So for spending, for experience, for new thing, new trend, everything can happen in Japan. That is a very, very good thing. So it also opened for me a great opportunity to show to our customer in at Nén a range of different style of wine. We got a lot of natural wine in our list, a lot of low alcohol, and a lot of wine from different area in the world. Like we got Chinese wine, we got Japanese wine, and then we got local product, and then we got wine from Czech Republic, and we got wine from let's say a very famous place in Italy for natural wine. We got Radicant, we got all of that. So it's very happy for us that we really can sell them out. So it showed that people in Da Nang, when they come to wine as a tourist, as a customer, they're always willing to spend to receive a good experience in the city. In Ho Chi Minh City is kind of like, for me, it's the opposite. So we have more local people coming to the restaurant. Of course, we still have tourists, but comparing to Da Nang, we got more local people. So the way to approach on the beverage to the local customer is quite different. If Hanoi, I say, is more traditional, in Ho Chi Minh City, I would say is more diverse. People are willing to try new thing, to try new trend. They accept a lot of different trend coming to the city, not only on wine, but on coffee, on beer, on everything. So it opened for the market a very diverse for the wine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And for some of the producers like coming to Vietnam for the first time, which city would you recommend to go first to explore just for the research?
For wine producer, I would recommend to go to Ho Chi Minh City because it's more dynamic and it's more thing to discover. Of course, in Hanoi, you still have the same, but for Ho Chi Minh City, I think for wine producer, it's easier for them to meet the person who can decide. Of course, in the Hanoi, you still can do the same. Well, it's very hard to say like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. But as I base in Ho Chi Minh City, so I think it's easier to really support the wine producer to discover the city and to meet the right person.
And so saying that, so in Ho Chi Minh City, the amount of importers, like it's more. There are more companies importing wines.
Actually, most of the important importers, they got office in two different cities. Some importers, they got the headquarter in Hanoi. Some importer, they got the headquarter in Ho Chi Minh City.
Mm-hmm.
So before, there's more headquarter in Hanoi. But now, with the very fast develop of the wine culture in Vietnam, there's more and more small importers. It's a small company. They got the headquarter in Ho Chi Minh City, and then they can decide very quick. So if you just there's a small company with two-person, so there's one person that can really decide to import wine or not. So it's easier to talk to that in local distributor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. And I would love to move to our second takeaway and talk about Italian wines and some of the consumer trends. When we come to Italian wines, which Italian wine categories, styles, or regions perform well in Vietnam? You already mentioned some, but maybe there
Mhm.
is more. And are there any regions that, in your opinion, deserve more recognition and would be a very perfect fit for the market?
As I already mentioned, of course, Puglia is still there as a very important region for Vietnamese market. But other than Puglia, we got a lot of wine from Tuscany, like a lot of from normal quality to very high quality wine from Tuscany. So Tuscany will be one of the very important Italian wine region for the market. And after these two, then it come to Veneto. For different style of wine, we got a lot of good Prosecco, and well, Prosecco is of course a big deal around the world. So it's the same in Vietnam. Prosecco is something that people would love to have. And then it can move to something more serious as Amarone. And then it moved to Piedmont for very high quality Barolo and Barbaresco, but that is not a big number for Barolo and Barbaresco, but there's still a good opportunity for Barolo and Barbaresco in the market. And that was the very main and important Italian wine region in Vietnam. And I think for now, there's more and more, because we, as an association, we provide a lot of education programs, a lot of workshops to share about different wine country in the world. And also we organize a lot of competition. So there's several Italian wine competition, which is very good for the F&B. So a lot of sommelier and let's say customer, they're looking for wine from Sicily, for example, which never happened before. But for the few years for now, people ask about Sicily, people ask about Etna, which is very good for the market. So it's a new area, it's a new type of wine with a lot of good story behind. And then people will ask about other small region in Italy. Sometimes people will mention more about the grape varieties. Like they're looking for this, for example, Pecorino, where I can find them, for example. Or they're looking for like Abruzzo wine, for example. So there's more and more small region, small Italian wine region coming to the market. For myself, I love orange wine.
Mm-hmm.
So you know where I'm gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love orange wine. So as I have mentioned, like we got very good wine from, say, Radican, the area very close to Slovenia. So I really love that area. So I hope to have more and more wine from that area coming to Vietnam.
Okay, moving back again to the markets
Mhm.
in general and combining that with Italian wines. Could you name some of the importers who are heavily focusing on Italian wines?
Yeah, we got several companies that really focus on Italian wine in Vietnam. Okay, there's one called Mondovino, if I'm not wrong. They are really, really focused into Italian wine. And then the headquarters was in Hanoi. And then we got Wine Cellar or Manhop, it's the same company. They are super focused on Italian wine. There's several big, importers like Cellier d'Asie. They got the market here in Vietnam and also in Cambodia. And Warehouse, or the other one is We Wine. There's several in Vietnam. They are all big competitors.
Mm-hmm. After the interview, if something else comes to your mind, please text me. I can include everything in the show notes.
Oh yeah,
So
I will. I just forgot that there's one more company. I just totally forgot the name.
no, it's okay. We can include that after the interview too, so that's fine.
Sure.
Again, going back to the consumers again, you said private customers. So, for example, I lived in China for some time, and I know that they have these tea houses, but it's not for like regular consumers. Those tea houses are owned by people like businessmen, for example, where they invite the people who they work with or their clients, for example. They just keep that place for themselves to invite people there, and they buy like boxes of wines, also like boxes of tea and baijiu, for example. So is it the same in Vietnam? When you talk about private customers, what does it mean? Like importers and distributors, they just sell directly to the final consumer.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like for private customers. So the retailer, sometimes the importer and retailer, they are the same with,
Mhm.
just different name of the company, but they are the same owner. So the retailer will sell directly to the end customer. And there's a lot of different way for them to find their private customer like that, especially after the COVID time. They will find their customer through phone or finding them from different events that they join, all the important event of the estate event or a lot of different kind of events. And they are the private customer that I have mentioned. So it's not like in China, but there's more like they will sell directly to the private customer and the customer will just use the wine themselves with their friends, something like that. Not like a place that will bring with wine and then only for the member. I think that in the future will develop in Vietnam, but for now, I don't know anyone yet. But I think in the near future, with the same like in London, there's a lot of like private club. So I believe that in the near future, that type of private club will come to Vietnam soon.
Okay. So it means that importer, they can also have their own like retail shops, for example, and they can also sell directly to the final consumer. So it's not like strictly divided like this system. Like if you're an importer, you cannot sell something that didn't pass through distributor, for example.
So it's more like importers, they will have a company for retailer. So it's a two different company, two different section. But normally they will own by maybe same or different. So it's still got like importer to retailer, retailer going to or distributor, not to be retailer, it's too specific. So it's more like distributor, so they can sell to their private, to their end customer.
Okay, got it. And oh my goodness, there are so many things I still want to ask you about, to be honest. But let's move to education. So again, you're the co-founder of Vietnam Sommelier Association. Can you please tell us about this project? What are your main priorities today? Also, are there like more and more people interested in sommelier profession?
Yeah, for our association, so we officially start 2019. So until now, it's still for our we call it a young baby. He's a baby comparing to other association. But that is good because they open for us a lot of opportunity, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that we want to do for our local sommelier or the F&B section in Vietnam. So what we do is we create online training workshops on different topic, and then we record the workshops and then we put on our YouTube channel because we want to share more, because a lot of people they really want to learn about wine but they're afraid of their English skill. So our association, as a national association, we're always trying to make it in Vietnamese, so easier for everyone to understand and to remember. So from that they can, if they love, if they like the sommelier career, they can start from something very easy like from us. And beside the online training workshop, we create several in-person workshops on tasting. Sometimes we call it like blind tasting challenge. Sometimes we gather people to do a fun blind tasting workshops. Sometimes we do wine food pairing, which focus on Vietnamese food, because we want to show people that Vietnamese food is very good with wine. You just need to, follow the correct pairing theory.
Mhm.
So a lot of different activity happen from the association to our member. So beside that different activities, we also organize competition. Actually, as a very young association, so our first national sommelier competition happened in 2024, 2 years ago. It will happen every 3 years. We want to do every 3 years instead of every year because we would love to, make something very refined competition.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, doing a small competition every year. We try to gather enough budget and enough partners to make it every 3 years as a big competition for our countries. So it's a professional competition. We're trying to make everything as professional as possible. Follow the ASI regulation and ASI style, the International Sommelier Association. So we do competition to improve the knowledge and the skill of our national sommelier. Because the winner, the champion of our national competition, will represent the country to join the area competition, like the Asia Pacific sommelier competition. And then before the best song of the world, we will gather the best sommelier in Vietnam. Can be the last champion or the last representative to compete again. We call them national selection to select the best one to represent the country to join the world competition. But the association is the non-profit one. It means that we don't do for ourselves.
Yeah.
We do for everyone. We trying to find activities. We always trying to like let people, okay, when do you want to do competition with us, like we asked the Italian chamber, like, do you want to make some competition with us or with the business friends or with other chamber or with other representative from different country. So we are the one who would be the local guy, like the local agency, very focused into some year to support other region or the country to make activity, to make masterclass, and to make competition for the young generation, the young sommelier generation in Vietnam. So even it's a new association, but until now we have already several competitions, a lot of masterclass, a lot of activities for our members.
And also for some of the producers, for example, who are willing to support association, for example, they want to share their wines with you, like with the hope maybe some of your members, they're like also working for importers for the restaurants, they would be
Mm-hmm.
interested in their wines. Can for example, Italian wine producers send their wines to you, like to support you or to organize master classes with you, even if they don't have the importer in the country yet?
Understand. It can happen, but the only thing from our association that as a neutral association, we cannot represent any private brand. So we can organize masterclass, we can organize tasting, but under the association activities. Or we can create like Italian wine tasting event, but we cannot put like this is the wine tasting from this winery or from that winery because it will have some conflict on our regulation. So we always try to stay neutral. Like we don't promote anything or we don't promote anyone, but we promote wine region and wine countries. So we can promote Italian wine.
Or consortio?
Yes, we do with
Okay.
consortio, like we do with Van Felicella, we do with other consortio, but we cannot do with any private brand. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but there's always a lot of different way to organize and try not to be conflict with our regulations.
Okay, that's good to know. And also, what I want, oh, yes. I think, like, as a person who worked in many different areas, like as an educator, as a som, as a beverage director. So, for someone who is thinking about starting the career in the wine industry, if you can, could you please share the average wages of, let's say, well, there are many different things that you can be in wine industry, to be honest, but like, for example, the main things that people think about, like soms, educators, like or if you're a brand ambassador, for example, what would be like the average, just the range, not like the specific numbers, but the range?
Oh, I think it's very hard for me to answer this question. Well, it's very up to the level of the sommelier for sure. So just starting. I just give an average
Yeah.
way for a very new, let's say, junior som, right? Working in restaurant, well, basic way will be around, so I would say, without any benefit or without any extra, maybe 300 euro per month can start like that.
Hmm. So it's like the base salary, and then it will add up,
Yeah, add
like
up
with the
with
sales and everything.
bonus, yeah, with bonus or not even 300, well, 200 to 300. It's very up to where you work and very up to how you perform for sure. But it will start basically like that. Yeah. But it can
Okay.
go up very high when you got more experience or when you handle more outlets for sure. The more outlet you handle, the easier that you can do for the salary.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Again, it's time for us to wrap it up. Let's leave some of the questions for our future guests too. And to finalize the interview, I'd love to ask you rapid fire questions. So if you can answer in a short, concise way. So the first one, which Italian wine would you recommend to someone discovering Italian wine for the first time in Vietnam?
I would fit it with pairing with Vietnamese food, so I would go for Prosecco.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good to do pairing with Vietnamese food or try a lot. So I think it's not too expensive, easy to find, perfect to pairing, and perfect for this tropical climate, always.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. And what's one Vietnamese dish that every Italian wine producer should experience with wine?
Only one?
Three. Let's go for three then.
Sorry, we are as of I love food, so it's hard to just use one. So I'll do one appetizer, one main course, and two main course, right? So for appetizer, we are very famous for a lot of different salad
Hmm.
based on our tropical agriculture product like papaya or green mango. So I would recommend for a producer to try first a Vietnamese salad because the sauce, the dressing that we use normally will based on fish sauce, our traditional sauce from fish. We call nước mắm with good umami taste, good acidity, good saltiness level, and then we dilute and we mix it up with a lot of different acidity can be lime, can be, kumquat. So it's a great balance. It's a great balance food that perfect to start and to understand about our cuisine. So it will be perfect with the prosecco for sure. And then for the main course, I would recommend it's a Vietnamese pancake. So Vietnamese pancake is based on rice flour. It's huge like that. So it's a pancake that they got the stuff inside and it will pour up like this. So there's different shrimp and pork and vegetable inside. So when you eat, you will wrap it up with a lot of local lettuce. So it's always yin and yang, it's a Vietnamese food. It's always balanced with a different flavor. Again, you have the side sauce is the fish sauce. So it's a great crispiness and with a lot of different flavor in your mouth. Good complexity and some fattiness from the pork. So that would be perfect with a high acidity white wine from Piedmont, for example. So it can be perfect with a cortese, for example. And then you can go with something with a red wine. So I would recommend a Vietnamese braised pork. So that is super traditional food for us, especially people from the south, to having them during the Lunar New Year Eve. So it's a braised pork that we marinate with different spices, and then we braise them with coconut water, and then you will have them with rice, steamed rice. So that will be perfect with a, let's say, can be a aged Tuscany wine, an aged Chianti Classico, for example. Yeah. So
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much.
my pleasure.
Okay, and the last question, a practical question for anyone who wants to visit Vietnam anytime soon, and also for the producers, for wine people. What are your favorite wine spots or bars? Let's say in Ho Chi Minh and Da Nang and Hanoi,
Okay.
maybe. So 3
Okay.
cities.
3 city.
Mhm.
So for wine bar in Ho Chi Minh City, absolutely you have to go to Mad Wine Bar, MAD, Mad Wine Bar. It's a beautiful wine bar, nice area, perfect wine list. You can find like almost everything there. Or you can go to Mowi. Mowi is a very small wine bar with a amazing wine list in the same time. It's more hidden. Mad Wine Bar is more like for everyone. Mowi is more like hidden bar. A very super small one. So that is for Ho Chi Minh. For Da Nang, I would recommend if it's not a wine bar, please come to Nén. If it's a wine bar, you can go to, let's say there's a Ru Wine Bar, RU, Ru Wine Bar. It's a new wine bar with beautiful, design, interior design, super classic. Good wine list, good people there. They can recommend you like everything. Or you can go. So another one is not Ru, but it's Go. So it's GU with the dot. I will send you, of course,
Okay.
by text. Easy. That is for Da Nang. And for Hanoi, well, Hanoi, there's a lot of small wine bar that just recently opened. But I would give the spot for one of my friends' wine bar is Same. Same, yeah, it's wine bistro. So good food, good wine list, good sommelier there. Yeah, I don't really go to wine bar in Hanoi, so I don't know. So I would recommend one wine bar in Hanoi. Yeah, so that is my recommendation.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I feel like this episode is just a gem. After visiting the country, I was in love with people, first of all, and also with cuisine. That is why I was waiting for this interview for a long time. But anyway, it's time for us to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you. It doesn't matter where, in Italy, in Vietnam, or maybe in Kazakhstan. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Asia Wine Market. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your fellow wine professionals wherever you get your pots. To stay updated on upcoming wine events, market insights, visit ItalianWinePodcast.com. Catch you in the next episode. And until then, cheers from Asia.